in regard to going outside, staying outside, or doing inside physical activity time. So just be aware of that. So the key thing I would tell parents is to dress your child appropriately, because you may be going out for at least a period of time. I know some classes are trying to go out for brief periods, at least to let the kids stretch their legs and then come back in, depending on the temperature. Today it's only supposed to go up to about 36 degrees. It's supposed to warm up the rest of the week, but there is no system drop dead temperature that we don't go out. It's really let up to the discretion of the teacher. Plus, are the kids properly dressed? Some kids will come in a sweatshirt and it's 35 degrees. It's probably, if a multitude of kids do that, we don't go out usually. So just keep that in mind. Holiday parties are coming up. You should be getting information from room parents in regard to the holiday parties. They start on December 14th. If you need to know, December 14th is second grade. December 15th is 4th and 5th grade. December 16th is 3rd. December 17th is 1st. And December 20th is kindergarten. We try to do one grade level per day because of the sheer mass of people that come in. We don't do anything on the 21st, which is the last day before the holidays, just to try to have some kind of regularity to the day. And I've done that the last few years just because it creates a calmness, a greater calmness to the day, as great as you possibly can on the day before Christmas break. We will, though, on the 21st have an opportunity for our kids to see the Christmas or the holiday concerts that will be performed on December 16th. Our 3rd and 5th graders will be performing that for our students on December 21st. So that will be an assembly we have on that morning for our children. So that is something we're doing for the kids on that day. You should not be seeing holiday videos in class. I really push the teachers not to do things like that. Polar Express, I know, was big before I got here. Most every child in this school has seen Polar Express and probably owns Polar Express. So I don't see the need of us showing a movie at school. So even though they may do holiday-based activities on that last week prior to school being out, it should not be a video day. So it will be a normal school day. Probably review, relooping information. Maybe it'll be tied into a theme, perhaps, but it is not going to be a free day at school. I like to let parents be aware of that so they don't think, well, their child doesn't come home, we're not going to do anything anyway, and they end up keeping their child at home that day. So I just like to afford that to parents to let them know that there will be things going on here, typical to a regular school day, as best we can. In regard to the holiday concert, which is on December 16th, that's next Thursday, that concert is going to have our 3rd and 5th graders performing. There is a lot of things going on that particular day. We have, starting at 4 o'clock, we have a barbecue that is an order-only barbecue. It goes from 4 to 6:30. You can eat in our cafeteria, or you can take it home. It's run through Max Speed Shop. A percentage of the proceeds go toward our 5th grade awards day and things at the end of the year. So that is an option for parents if they want to do that. At 6 o'clock, we have staff from Davidson IB, what is now Davidson IB, coming in to talk to parents if they're interested in learning more about the change from Davidson to Alexander. As you know, if you've been paying attention in the papers, a huge issue was the closing of Davidson IB, which is a very, very small, dilapidated school in Davidson. It's a neat little place, but the building is archaic in regard to what it needs done. So they kind of went around, do we build a new building? Do we go to a school with mobiles as the entire building while we try to renovate? There's a whole different bunch of things going on. What they ended up deciding to do was move the Davidson IB program into Alexander Middle School because their numbers had dropped. So there's going to be a staff member from Davidson here to kind of explain that to any parent that's really interested, but that'll be at 6 o'clock. It's mainly designed for our 5th grade parents, but if there's 4th grade parents that are interested in signing their child up for that when they go to middle school, at least you'll have a general idea of what the expectation is going to be. As of right now, the majority of the staff from Davidson IB, well, actually all will have the opportunity to go with the program. So we'll be basically picking up a program and just moving it to a new site. Some teachers may choose not to stay with the program, I don't know. But the goal is to kind of pick it up, and it'll be a school within a school. And that's not uncommon. It's a partial IB. I mean, it'll be a partial program, so there'll be 2 actual programs going on in the same building. So there'll be some information about that at 6 o'clock. At 6:30, our PTO meeting will occur in our gym, and then at 7 o'clock, the concert starts. The concert will last about 45 to 50 minutes. We hopefully will have everybody out of here by 8 o'clock, and they can go home and finish up their evening. So that will be a busy day in regard to what's going on if you're interested in all those different things. If you're not interested in all the pre-stuff, the concert starts at 7, and that'll buy you a little bit of time in regard to coordinating your families. Formative testing is going on as we speak. Right now it's going on in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Basically all it is formative testing means ongoing testing. So that is testing that happens throughout the school year that allows us to see where our kids are. This test that they're taking right now, today they're taking math. The test they're taking right now will look at everything that was taught from 1st quarter and through 2nd quarter. There may be even a few things in 2nd quarter that they haven't seen yet, but for the majority, it will be 1st and 2nd quarter only. The one they took at the beginning of the year was more of a pre-test, and that was the entire year. So this data should be more helpful to us. That data will then be used by teachers as they do their groups in the classroom and as they differentiate and as they create lesson plans to see this group understands this group does not. So that's what the testing is. Yesterday we were done with reading. Probably by 9:30, I think everybody was finished. In K and 1, it looks a little different. This is the first year they're doing something similar, but it's one-on-one. So in kindergarten and 1st grade, they're doing this one-on-one with a staff member. And then it's inputted into a computer. So they are also being assessed on where they are at this particular time. 2nd grade, also going through it. They'll start it at the end of this week. And it'll be very similar to what we're doing in 3-5. Where they will be tested on the skills that they're working on at this point. So it's a little bit different this year. K2 is actually involved in the formative process, which at one time they were not. So that's a little bit different. But
is this a state-based test or
no? These are local tests. But that's a good question. She asked, is this a state-based test or a local thing? These are local tests. We use an outside vendor, and this is the first year we've done it. There's an outside vendor that creates the questions, and then we're using them. So we really don't have any baseline data of how kids performed on this previously. This will be our baseline as a school. In the near future, the state is creating, as we speak, state formative tests. So the state will be having them. Now the good part about that is you're not only comparing yourself to Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, you'll actually be able to compare yourself to the state. In about 2013, we are going more toward a national testing system. Based on where we're at right now, as you read the paper, you'll learn more and more about it. There's something called Race to the Top that's being done by the federal government that North Carolina is a part of. To get involved in that and to apply, you had to say that you would be willing to do certain things. 45 states applied. So in about 2013, I think is the goal, everything is going to be online, meaning that all students will take the tests online. It will be, again, this is the theory and philosophy behind it. Tests will be done online. They will differentiate based on how the kids are answering questions. So if they're answering well, it'll keep ratcheting up to see how far above grade level they can go. If they're struggling, it will ratchet down. We haven't seen how this could work effectively yet, but that's the goal right now. And then you will be able to compare for the first time ever nationally. Right now, you can't compare what's happening in North Carolina versus what's happening in South Carolina, what's happening in California, unless they're giving the same state test, a standardized test. So that will be the one good thing. You actually will be able to see a little bit more of a comparison of how North Carolina is doing and how Charlotte-Mecklenburg is doing, how our school is doing versus the United States overall. So that is coming down the pipe, but we have a few years to go for that still. So that's kind of my nuts and bolts. The last thing I kind of wanted to hit on, because I figured it's going to come up, is the speed bump. If you drive your kids into school in the morning, you've noticed our speed bumps. This was done as part of a way to try to slow down traffic during the day as we have children on our playgrounds. Plus we're adding a playground, so there is going to be a lot of traffic in that area once that other playground gets built up on that hill. So that's why we asked to put them in. The system, when they put them in, they do these portable ones first. They're all the same size. It's cheaper. This is what they go with first. I actually asked them this week if they could shrink them a little bit, razor them down. Because even though I haven't had a ton of complaints, I've had a person here, person there say something to me. So they can't. They're all the same height, 3.5 inches or something like that. Or 3.5 something. Huh? Maybe. So the other thing, though, is if they don't work, meaning that if they loosen up and come out, the next option that they have is to use asphalt. The reason they didn't do it the first time is because it's more cost efficient to use the ones they bolt into the concrete. So that's why they do that. It has caused the unintended consequence of slowing down traffic, which I think is a good thing. It's obviously backed up our traffic in the morning. So, you know, I thought it was going to get better and better. We've only had it for about a week right now, so hopefully it's a work in progress, but it has slowed things down. We were getting that, probably combined with the fact that we have more car riders because it's cold, has slowed things down a little bit in the morning time. So that has caused us a problem. But I have checked to see if we can reduce them, but we can't. So that's kind of where we're at with the speed bumps. The one thing is, they're not as high as in an SUV. It's not as big of a deal probably as some people are making it out to be. Some people are coming to a complete stop and then trying to drive over the thing. They're not that high, but they are high. I understand it. So, you know, I think it's just going to take some getting used to. You know, obviously I've had a couple, you know, random comments of, have you gotten a complaint yet? No, I haven't actually. Maybe you got one now, kind of thing. And you know, I've gotten random phone calls at who's going to realign my car after this. You know, anonymous, of course, so I can't reply to them. But it's really only been 4 or 5 folks. But I figure that'll come up in the meeting, so I want to just kind of hit it and make sure people understand the purpose of it. It was not really to slow traffic in the morning time. It's really the remainder of the day that it's an issue to me, that people fly in and out of there. And you would be surprised at how fast. And there are balls that roll across that street on a regular basis, and it is inevitable that something's going to happen. So in addition to the speed bump, we're actually getting ready to put up fences too, on either side. So as part of the playground project, the fundraising we're doing for that through PTO, they are looking at fencing on either side of that area. So when we put the playground up on that hill, if a ball does roll down the hill, it will be stopped by a fence, and a child will not be able to run into the street. Plus, if a child's playing basketball in our bus parking lot and the ball rolls out, a child's not going to run out in the street. We haven't had the problem yet, but if you come in at certain times, you will see balls sitting on the other side of the street. I kick them over all the time. So it just is a way to really try to keep the place safe. It's not to try to hurt anybody's car, which I believe some people honestly believe I'm trying to do. It's I'm sabotaging vehicles. So that's basically what I have right now. I'm just going to open up the floor to you all, and if you have stuff. I will say one other thing. Based on the conversation, those that were here last month, in regard to accelerated reader, it has brought up a lot of conversation in our school. So we actually are looking at some other options, not to basically totally get rid of AR, but to really look at how it's being used in the school. So know that not only has our reading committee started looking at it, our school leadership team has gotten involved and is looking at it. So we are actually, as a staff, starting to look at how we decide to go forward with accelerated readers. So that should be coming. It won't change anything this year, but it will be leading to changes next year in regard to how we attack that as a school. And then we will have probably some parent focus groups to be a part of that process as well. Once we get some information and we have some stuff. Yes?
I want to be on a parent focus group.
Okay. I'll let you know and then you just tell. So with that being said, the floor is open to you. Anything burning that you need to ask questions about?